Okay, man, look this side. 3, 2, 1, action.
I would like to get to know if it could be.
Okay. So, it is the second part of the Q&A. Welcome back to my channel. Welcome to AM KOKETSO and I am KOKETSO. For now, you must be knowing me because I posted the first part of the Q&A a few days ago. But yeah, depends on when you're watching this video. But yeah, this is the second part of the Q&A as promised. The first one will be on the personal level, and then the second one will be on academic-based questions. So, let's do this. This Q&A is quite straightforward. It's very straightforward. Okay, so the first question is, how did you do grade for maths and physics? So for maths and physics, just like any other subject, it's all about practice. It's all about practice. Even in subjects like Afrikaans, it was all about practicing. And with maths, physics, what I did was, before I can go on to start the practicing work, I make sure that I study my content. So let's take, for example, with maths, there's that quadratic formula and everything. So before you can go start like doing questions where you need to use that quadratic formula, you need to know when they say they're looking for values of k for which something yields real numbers or unreal roots, equal roots. You need to know what that means. But if you don't have that theory in, surely the practical side of it, the practicing, will be quite difficult. So I made sure to get the studying first and then go on to the practicing later. But I've seen this question quite a number of times, even in comments, people requesting that I make a video on how I did grade for maths and physics. So I will, at some point very soon enough, make a video on how you can ace your maths and your physics. So yeah. And the second question is, are you a morning person or are you a night owl when it comes to studying? So for me, I'm just a in the dark person. If you consider after 12 to be the night, if you consider it to be the morning, it's fine. So what I've seen is, if I sleep during the day and I study at night, like from maybe 12 p.m. until 5 a.m. in the morning, or from 11 p.m. until 5 a.m. in the morning, then that's when most people are actually asleep. So the number of distractions, like, they're very minimal. I'll go outside wanting to go play football. There's no thing of wanting to go visit a friend. And some distractions are just unavailable unless if now you're part of the crew that works overnight at school, if you know what I mean. So yeah. And now the next question here is, in terms of grade 12, is the workload a lot more than in grade 11? Okay, so with grade 12, I would like to say it's just that, I mean, there is quite the workload, but it's just that the difference between your another grade 11 is that in grade 12, it's not a full year. It's essentially like 6, 7, 8 months. And in grade 11, you have the whole year to drill in all your concepts. So that's pretty much the big difference in terms of workload. But which one is more difficult? For me, definitely has to be grade 11. Because when you go to grade 12, there are many concepts, many topics that are now cut down. Like things that you did in grade 11, you don't do anymore. It's like basically like in grade 11, you're starting topics, you're starting concepts. Like they need to grind something in from the beginning. And when you get to grade 12, it's like you are just taking from something that you've learned before. And yeah, that's basically the major difference. Like in grade 12, like for example, your Euclidean geometries of maths. In grade 11, you taught all these things. And then in grade 12, they just add 2 theorems. And that's, so if you didn't know it in grade 11, then your grade 12 will be quite difficult. So yeah, that's practically the difference. And then the next question is, what sources did I use to stay ahead with my subjects in grade 12? Okay, as I said, the major source was actually YouTube. That was the major source. And then, okay, so I used to attend extra classes at Karabo, and also attended extra classes like in my school in them. And at times I'd go to like a neighboring school. I'd just go there. You know, like in grade 12 and in school in general, but mostly grade 12, you need to exploit all your resources. Use your teachers. There's no teacher that, unless if your teacher is, I don't know, heartless or something. But I don't think if you ask your teacher about something that she's meant to teach you next week and you're like, ma'am, I don't understand what's going on here, but you come with a question, you're like, I don't understand how this is this and not this. If your teacher is a good guy or a good girl, then your teacher will tell you what's what. But if it's a person who's arrogant and feels like you're trying to act better, then they will react. But she's not the only, or he's not the only maths or physics teacher in this world. You just go and ask the other one. But for me, the sources or resources that really kept me on my toes, it's the extra classes that I was in, because you're always ahead. It was me using YouTube and asking my teachers, basically. So yeah. And the next question is how did I study for maths and physics? I've said that just now in the previous question, but again, I'll make a video on it. And yeah, seems like this video is really wanted, but it's fine. I'll make the video. I will make the video at some point. So yeah. The next question is, I'm in grade 10. Any advice going to grade 12? What should I expect grade 12 to be like? Okay, when you're in grade 10, being in grade 10 and being so serious about school should be an achievement, because grade 10 changes people, grade 12 changes people, varsity changes people. Those 3 stages in your life. But yeah. So being in grade 10, what you should expect grade 12 to be like. You should expect it to be a lot. Grade 12 is a lot. There's a lot going on and you need to catch up. Like, when you're in grade 12, it's not about what your school wants, because at the end of the day, the whole country will be writing the same exam. So if your school or your teacher decided not to teach you this topic, mara in another school, or you check your exam guidelines in them and they show this topic is supposed to be taught because it will be tested in an examination, then you have to go learn that topic. Like, your school didn't teach it, your teacher didn't teach it well, and grade 12 is just a thing of you can do it alone, but it won't be easy. And that's why when people are in grade 12, like, you recommend things like being in study sessions with people, having a study buddy, having accountability partners, just being with people. Like, I used to study with people who are from different schools. I'd study with a girl who was from Germiston, another from Elspark, and a gent from Boxburg. We'd study together, and when we study like this and we are from different schools, then this allows us to share our material. See, we share material from different sources. And the fact that at the end of the day we'll be writing the same exam, then this benefits all of us at the end of the day. So yeah, you should expect grade 12 to be a whole lot more than grade 10 should be. But if you cope in grade 11, grade 12 should be a walk in the park. But yeah. And the next question is, what are your study techniques? Question. And which one would you prefer us to use? Okay, the second part, the which one would you prefer us to use, that one it's very selective. It's absolutely selective. It depends on umuntu, but okay. My study techniques, it differs with the subject that I'm doing. If I'm studying my biology, then I do active recalling space repetition, where I walk around the room. As I walk around the room, I'm reciting everything that I've learned. Active recalling is when I recall everything that I've learned, but actively. I don't just close my eyes and start saying them. I write down on paper what I know about this particular topic. Then when I'm done writing down everything, when I think I've written down every single thing that I know, then I open my textbook, I open my book, and I check what did I not write, which is here. Then I write that thing in a red pen so that I don't know, absorb it or something. But yeah, so yeah, I do active recalling space repetition. So basically I would say I'm a reading and writing learner, but I'm also a very verbal learner, but I'm also visual, because when I was doing my physics, I would take a Vaseline, I would take a remote, and I would say, Newton's first law, an object will remain at rest unless if acted upon by a non-zero resultant force. So like in an exam, I would then remember all those things because I had an animation of all that. So again, like the Newton's second laws, an object will remain at rest. No, that's not the one. Yeah, an object, whatever. An object will move in the direction of that net force. That's, in a nutshell, that rule. So this object here, if I push it, it'll move to that direction because my force is to that direction. If I pull it, my net force is to that direction, so it'll move to this direction. So in an exam, I just remember all those type of things. Newton's third law, action reaction forces are equal and in opposite directions. You clap your hands. When you slant this hand, it slants you back. So in an exam, I'd be remembering all those things, you know. But I'd like to assume that I'm more visual than anything else, because sometimes when I'm doing things like vertical projectiles, for those in grade 12, they know, I do practical things where in an exam, I'll drop my pen from a certain distance to see, okay, so if I drop a thing, this will be the path that it's going to take. Then I start doing my thing. So yeah. And now the next question is a bit more on the personal level than it is on the academic level, but it's fine. So it's based upon university, so it's cool. This question says, how is adjusting in uni? Also, do you stay in catered rest? If so, how is the food? Okay, adjusting in university is a lot, but I've adjusted now. When I started, it was too much of a lot. Attending practicals every single day, attending tutorials every single day, because I'm used to the school. In high school, you go to school in the morning, you go back after school, and then you do your things, do your homeworks, eat. Here is not nice, Papa.
Nice, Papa. I told you.
But now what I have to do is like, I attend my lectures from 8. I mean, there are breaks between lectures, but you don't fill those breaks unless I don't know. Yeah, but yeah, there are breaks between your lectures, and after that, you have to go attend the practical. My chemistry practicals, more often than usually, take about 3 hours. And Mitology practical, it started at 2, and it's 3 hours, ends at 5. And then you find that on that day, at 5, I have to go study for an hour because at 6, I'm writing a test. And then the test is like 2 hours. I come back home at 8, and I have to go do my homeworks if there are any assignment, because I'm coming back tomorrow and I'm doing it over and over again. So the adjusting was not easy, but towards the end of the first semester, I was starting to really get the hang of things and get the gist of things. Yeah. And do I stay in a catered rest? Yeah, I do stay in a catered rest. How's the food? The food is, I'd say it's quite good. It's for me. I don't complain too much. I'm not too picky. But there was a time when I was not happy. But yeah, I don't want to trash talk my people. But there was a time when the food was not pleasing at all, and I decided not to eat for the day. But yeah, I've anyway changed my meal diet, and yeah, I think yeah, it's edible, and it's good on its day. Mostly, more often than usually, it's absolutely incredible. I'm not going to lie. So, yeah, it's quite good food at the catered rest. And the next question, again, I'm going to direct you to a video that I haven't posted at the time of recording this. Is any tips on how to ace Euclidean geometry and paper 2 in general? I'm going to post a video on how to ace your maths, how to ace your physics because now I feel like it's quite late for those who are writing June exams. So before your prelims, I definitely will post that video. So, yar. And now my next question is, what motivates you and pushes you to continue doing what you're doing every day in terms of school and YouTube? The thing is, like, I keep telling myself every now and then that the life I want to live is too expensive for me to keep on sleeping. I'm not the most motivated person out there, but some things have to be done, you know? I tell myself at most, like, I just motivate myself, motivational quotes, you know, and I have a very strong support structure around me. So one of the things that I always tell myself is that I should continue doing what I have to do in order for me to do what I want to do, if that makes sense. But in terms of YouTube, I love this thing. I'm absolutely in love with YouTube. I love what I'm doing. It gives me happiness. Whenever I have to film, it's something I'm excited about. It doesn't feel like a job. The editing sometimes feel like a project, but it doesn't feel like, it might be stressful at times, but it's good stress. So yeah, but nothing motivates me except for myself and the people around me. Otherwise, I love it without a single doubt, man. I just love it, man. Come on. And the next question is also on that path, yeah? It says, how do you do it? How are you so motivated to study? I'm not motivated to study. I'm not studying right now. But in general, how do I do it? Like, the thing is, sometimes you must try this. Just sit and think about what would happen. Think about how things would turn out if you decided to not study and just go write this exam. How many things ride on the results of whatever you're doing? How many things depend on how well you do? How many things depend on whether you study or not? And maybe that'll give you a reason to study. Because for me, it was that thing. Like, I'll like, okay, If you don't study, boy, you are unemployed, chilling at home, nothing to do. You don't get to do what you want. All these dreams that you've been having your whole life, wasted. The school fees that have been spent on you, wasted. Every single thing that has been done on you is a waste now because you decided not to. But yeah, I just very practically, I asked myself, what would happen if I were to stop everything that I'm doing? And many horrible things would happen. So yeah, I just continue from doing that. And again, this comes to time management. I think I've said this before, but like, if I am saying to myself that today I'm studying for 4 hours and I study 2 hours, I study 3 hours. This 1 hour that I did not study, I will study it. Naganjan, even if I choose to take my studying time and go out to see a friend, I go out to see someone, I go play football, I'll take that 1 hour from my sleep. Because as I always say, that you need to focus on things you can control, and you can control how you spend your time, but you cannot control the time that has been lost. You go, you spend time with your friends, you regret why you went there because you wasted time. But now this is unfortunate because you can't go back and spend that time wisely now. And you need to take that time off your sleep. Like, come on, the wicked shall not sleep. So yeah, the time part of it is also a huge factor, yeah? And my next is it the last question? Yeah, this is the last question. My next question is, were there moments where it felt like it was all for nothing, or moments where you felt like giving up? Many times in life where I just thought of too many alternatives. I was like, you know what, school is not the biggest thing out there. I'll just do something. And like, as a human being, as a student, as Mutofunda, I go through a lot. I go through a lot academically, mentally, emotionally, personally, and every single thing, every aspect of my life. And whenever I feel like giving up, I just remind myself, listen, you don't always have to be motivated to do this, but you need to stay disciplined. Many people who know me personally know that I always say this, and I think I've said it in one of the videos, discipline will take you places that motivation can't. You need to stay disciplined. You know that you have to do this. It's not by choice, but you have to do this. If you want to get a good mark for this exam, if you want to do well in the sport, if you want to, some things you just have to do them. Naganja, it's not about being motivated. It's not about being in the mood. It's not about, no. You can be tired. No one cares about that. But you need to stay disciplined. You are the one who set these goals. You are the one who set these dreams, and you can't lose the plot. You need to keep going. You need to keep going. Just keep going. I just always tell myself, boy, just keep going. It'll all make sense one day because the view is better from the top. So I just keep going and I keep going. So I'm not always motivated, but I always remind myself to remain disciplined even when motivation runs out. Because motivation runs out, and that's why you need to stay disciplined. So yeah, that's why I always repeat that discipline will take you places that motivation can't.
Nice.
And so that is the end of the video. Okay, I talk too much, but yeah, so that's the end of the video. Thank you for watching this video, and thank you for subscribing. I hope you are subscribed, because again, I repeat, now the stats have changed. 69.3% of my viewers are not subscribed. But yeah,